Welcome back to Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous, and tonight we are going to talk about the last one of the 4 brand new variants released for the Constellation series of transports from Roberts Space Industries. This one's called the Phoenix. I saved it for last for a couple of reasons. One, it's way over the top expensive for what most people pay for ships in Star Citizen. I think the number one selling ship is still the Aurora. Two, the whole design about it is not really conducive to the type of gameplay that most people are going to have. Yet I jumped right on board the minute I saw it, and for different reasons. And I'm going to talk about that today. There's no real story-driven piece that they write about this ship. It's just down to the point because they know the people that are buying it just want to know what kind of luxury items it has. Kind of like when someone's going to get a Lexus or a Mercedes or a BMW. Essentially, all they do is say, Chariots of the Gods, the true core of any ship is the command center. The Constellation Phoenix starts with a primary operator seat designed by Gallo and Frost. Ultra-res displays provide crystal clear display elements from a variety of perspectives, as well as efficient touchscreen interfaces. Want more? Every Constellation is pre-fitted for an expansion station. You can choose and purchase from our upcoming range of options, including command, exploration, and entertainment. I think that says it all. This is a ship that's looking for the person that just cares about luxury items to buy it. But that's not why I bought it. So let's take a look at it. So there it is, the Phoenix. It doesn't look much different than most of the other Constellation ships as I try to find a perspective to show it off. The ship has actually gotten a little bit larger than it used to be, and it's hard to get it in a frame without getting a whole bunch of junk in the same frame. I don't know how to use the CryEngine like anything FPS does, so if you want to look at some really gorgeous videos of this, please go over to his videos and take a look at it. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at the ship from a different perspective. They're talking about it from a luxury standpoint, but when I'm looking at it is my personal hauler, my home away from home, whichever you want to call it. And I am just head over heels in love with this ship for a couple of reasons. Definitely not the decor, which kind of looks like it was decorated by Disco Landau, sans the dance floor and the disco ball. But it's actually a good ship. When you think about down the line, you'll be able to decorate it any way you want, move things around, and change out some equipment. We're looking at one of the 8 thrusters up there, the maneuvering thrusters. This over here is actually a personal storage bin, though the brochure says it's supposed to be a turret. Now, I'm not sure where they're going with this. They've already stated that the brochure has been incorrect, or maybe the Phoenix is incorrect, and one of these things is going to be fixed by the time version 1.3 of the hangar comes out. Up here we see the canards, which are on these long rails. They move forward for stability when landing vertically and then slide back again. Right now it's in the backward slid position, which does change the profile. I think in the last hangar version they were in the forward slid. Here are your 2 Hammer propulsion HE 5.5s. They're the same ones that are on the Andromeda. However, it is powered by a size 6. Yes, I said size 6. Power plant, and that is the WeTech HF R3 Plus, and that's one size above standard. Now you can actually go all the way up to a size 7 here. There's your main thrusters. Now it's shipping right now with a Merlin, so we can take a look at it, and we'll talk a little bit about that more later. Here's another one of the thrusters, and I'm just going to walk underneath, and now that we have it white, we can see the upper pivot point. And over here, up forward, is the lower pivot point. Because these are on an angle, they're actually going to give it more roll and yaw at the same time. And the upper ones definitely are going to do, these are going to do roll and pitch at the same time, where the upper ones should do yaw. Basically, I think that's exactly what they're supposed to do. So vectoring the thrusters here gives you a much better handling. Now, there's a weapon station on the bottom over there to the right. It doesn't have a weapon assigned to it yet, but they are actually going to be larger weapons. They're going to be the Bearing Mark 6 laser cannons, and they are size 4. Up there you can see that black and white checked area. That's one of the wings that swing out with the missiles. I believe you have 4 of them, 2 on each size, and they're 4 size 1s. And you have 2 size 2 missile racks with a capacity of 7 each, and 2 size 2 missile racks each with 12. Basically, now that I can see where they're positioned, the interior on the other constellations that I think might be jump seats, I think whoever said that they would be areas to replace or rearm the missiles are right. We're under the cargo hatch right now, and currently you cannot open it like the other ones. Now, I'm against this ship having cargo. I think it should have been a double-decker personal spaces. I think you should have rooms on the bottom for people to sleep in, and upstairs should be your place for people to congregate. But I guess they didn't want to work too hard on that. I don't think that this should be a transport in that way. I think this should be a personal transport. There we go with the Merlin. Definitely going to be replaced at some point by the Archimedes, which we do not have any information on, except that it's going to be called the P-72 Archimedes. My guess would be it's going to be a luxury version of this ship. Take, for instance, a Camry over a Lexus. So let's go upstairs and take a look at the cabin. Holy bajinga. It is just gorgeous in here, is it not? I love the textures. I think they're not over the top. I think the crew quarters in this ship is amazing. This area is just wonderful. And I think they got this right. And if they do add the second turret in and get rid of that personal storage space for the crew underneath, I'd be happy. But even without it, I think it looks amazing. This is the perfect ship for me, being the head of the enablers. I thought I was going to be using my Retaliator for that, but no, this one is going to be it. Got to come up with a name for this one now. So if you looked at that seat as we got into it, it was all plush leather and gorgeous. So I'm probably going to skip through some parts here. So let's take a look at that gorgeous touchscreen in front and then move up. You could already see those the moon roofs that run the length of the top of the fuselage. I think there might be some blast covers that come over it, but I'm not 100% sure. I hope so, just in case you're jumped and you're in combat. Something that could stop air from escaping out of there. There is just so much in this ship, and what I'm trying to do is just get a look inside the ship and give you an idea of what makes up the ship, you know, what different pieces. There's really nothing over here in this section, so let me skip over to some place where I know that there is something. Actually, let me just roll with this because I think it's interesting to see what's actually behind some of these things. Here are the escape pods or crew sleep chambers, and over here are the rails, and they even have stoppers that stop them from going too far. What happens with these is that you jump into them, they close up, and they slide back a little bit on the rails and hit that one piece that stops them, and then they get jettisoned out the top. So here we're seeing the top turret. Yes, it has a top turret, definitely, right? And down below, no turret. That's the personal storage space. So I'm wondering if, you know, it wouldn't be so bad to keep this because it really does separate the crew from the rest of the people on the ship. And I think that's a very good thing to do, right? And so they have their own pretty much living quarters, eat, sleep, bathe, and stay away from everybody else that's on the ship. God only knows what's going behind those doors. So I keep on trying to look at this and getting a couple of looks at the bathroom. Yeah, there is the shower. And finally, I'm probably just going to move on. I wanted to see what exactly was over here. There are the stoppers for the escape system. So what I'm trying to show here is that there's a lot more thought process into the ship than just what it looks like on the outside. And there's the door just up ahead that actually opens and allows the escape pod to jettison through it. It's pretty cool. I'm very happy with the way that this looks so far. Now I'm skipping ahead a little bit and giving the first view of the interior of the I guess you'd call it the passenger cabin. It's kind of like a luxury hotel inside there. It's more like a meeting room meets somebody's bed. I'm not even close to being okay with the design of it, but the idea of it I'm okay with. I mean, you have a boardroom table, then you have a media room, you have a bar, and you have a bed, hot tub, and shower all in the same space. Meanwhile, you've got this huge cargo area underneath, which you really don't need. I mean, this is a luxury yacht pretty much, and you can cut that cargo area down in half below and make it easier for you to have people live on your ship. But I think one of the things that I'm leaving out is that not only does this come with a P-72 Archimedes, but it also comes with a Lynx Rover, which my best guess is a Lynx Rover is going to be a much more upscale version of what the Ursa Rover is for the Aquila. So it's going to give you a luxury ride when you land on a planet instead of, something like the Mako from Mass Effect. So here we are opening the door for the first time, and you can see all the shiny bits and pieces of this gorgeous ship. And the wood grain, and yeah, it's a little bit over the top. Why did I buy it then? Why did I buy it, right? I just can't wait until they let us decorate it the way we want to. And then this is going to become my my small council chamber. It's going to become my, you know what, friends, come on, jump on my yacht and let's go for a flight around the UEE space. It's going to be a place for the enablers to meet. So I really, where I'm not like so taken back by how gorgeous it looks. It is a pretty ship. I think some of the things are just over the top. Now, one of the cool things is right there. That display is going to be like a TV center. And I'm hoping that they let you somehow watch the different commercials and stuff that are already in the game. And I pray to God that it actually syncs with your Mobi-Glass at some point when they get that working. And there's a hot tub in this ship, which to me I find utterly ridiculous because you're in a weightless environment, and I don't believe that the mass of this ship is big enough to have its own gravity, but it does, right? So say your anti-gravity, gravity generator, whatever it is, fails and there are people in the tub. That is the cleanup I don't want to be part of at all. That is just gorgeous. And there's a shower over there and a bed. I mean, you could have put a bulkhead over here and closed this off from the rest of it. Just the thought process that went behind this ship. I wonder how much of it was in the design phase and they just stopped at some point because David Hobbins had to leave CIG to go work with Disney. I wonder, right? So I'm the one that bought it. So let's be serious. I love the ship. I'm not knocking it. I just think that some of the things in the ship are ridiculous. Now, you can't get into the lower compartment from here, which is kind of annoying, right? You can't get to the lower cargo compartment, and that definitely has to be worked on. Because if you can't get down below when you're in space, I mean, you're going to have to, right? You're going to have to check on the cargo, tie it down. What if you have to space it? There's just things that you'll have to do. Even on an airliner, there's a way to get down below. So I wonder if they're going to do that. God, I'm picking this ship apart, yet I spent the money on the upgrade. To be honest with you, I didn't spend any more than $20 on the two, on the Aquila and on the Phoenix. First thing I did was I melted a couple of ships, and second thing I did is I borrowed a cutlass from our organization and melted that, which I'll have to pay back to be able to get this. So in the end, it probably cost me $120 to get the two ships. I already had the Rear Admiral package from a long time ago. A very, very, very special friend of mine bought it for me a long time ago. Oh boy, here comes a graphic glitch. I got stuck back here and it was a very bad thing. I tried for a really long time to get out and I couldn't, but I got to see a couple of more pieces of the interior of the ship at the same time. But let's just move on from here. I'm going back to this view, just showing you a couple of things. There are the missile racks, and here's the cargo container, all right? So it will fit the Lynx down here, and it carries far less cargo than the other variants of the Constellation. And again, this is not a cargo ship, but what you're looking at here, instead of 1,100, is almost half as much. Actually, it's less than half. It's 540 freight units. And there's your two missile racks right there on the left. Right there's one, and there's another. So while this is going off, let's just talk about who this ship is for. It's an expensive ship, but two things to keep in mind. It comes with a couple of things that you're not going to find anywhere. It comes with a baby grand piano. That's pretty cool if you like hangar flair, but still only worth about $15. It comes with an Archimedes, and we still don't know anything about this ship. It might be kick butt, it might be poop. My guess is it's going to be whatever the Merlin is, times 2. And it comes with the Lynx, which is an upscale rover. So you're not just getting a Constellation with all these cool upgrades to it, you know, better power plant, a hot tub. I wonder if that's a hot tub time machine. And you're getting something that's actually going to be different. Remember, there is no way to buy this ship later on down the road. Once it's done, it's done. There's no more purchases of this vessel once they run out. I think that's about all I want to be saying about the Constellation Phoenix tonight. I think it's a gorgeous ship. I don't know if I would say it's worth the money for everybody. It's kind of one of those things that it has to be a personal decision to make this purchase, right? Because there are other ships, and for the price of this ship, you could buy many other ships that would probably do you a lot more in the game. This is for somebody that, you know, maybe you have money to burn, or maybe you have a purpose like I do. I want an in-game meeting place for my best friends, for my organization mates, and for the High Council of the Enablers, and I think this is a perfect reason for getting it. And I read about the Lynx and the Archimedes and just thought it was going to be wonderful. Now the other piece here is that whenever there's a limited edition of a ship, that's the first one I purchased. The reason being, usually they don't come around often. Look at the M50, look at the MIS version of the Freelancer, or the F7CM, like the one I'm giving away. Once they're sold, they only come back occasionally and for very short periods of time. So I buy them up right away, and if I don't find that I like it, I go and I trade it in and buy something else. So the way I looked at this ship purchase was, I'm going to give it a go, because you know, I had a whole bunch of ships that I wasn't going to be using, an Aurora, a Freelancer Max, and a couple of other things that equaled the money that cost me the Aquila and this. So I melted them and bought this. In the long run, I know I'm going to keep this ship. I'm not so sure I'm going to keep the Freelancer MIS at this point, but I know I'm going to keep this ship. So it's always going to be, like I said, a personal decision. So if you don't want to buy this ship, don't. But to me, I think it serves a purpose, and that's why I got it. That's all I got to say about this one today. Thank you all for watching each and every one of these reviews, and thanks to Big Bada Boom, one of the people that frequent the Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous thread in the subscriber den, for giving me access to his hangar for yesterday's video on the Taurus. And because he gave me access, I have an upcoming review of the 350R that I haven't done, and I'm going to do a comparison of the 350R versus the M50. And on that video, I will definitely admit how wrong I was to think the 350R might get its butt kicked by the M50. I think it's going to be a very close race, so look forward to seeing that in the future. You all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.